Let me tell you a story not too long ago, 2021 to be exact, that really affected me. It's quite an interesting one. People don't realize this about me, but I'm easily afraid of dogs. This has been something that has been going on for quite a while now, but this was a story that added fuel to that fire. Back when we were stuck indoors for the quarantine in 2020, I had to do something annoying called virtual learning, which was when we had to do school through a video screen inside the comfort of our own bedroom. The only issue was that it wasn't so comfortable. It was a huge problem. If you weren't born around this time or were young enough to not be in school, it was just like regular school. You had your math, reading, English, I don't know what you really call it anymore, science, and social studies. And usually there would be an hour per class, and every screen would be silent, and every picture would be frozen if you chose to turn on your camera, which most people didn't. Depression at a visual, this would be it. One of those classes that I took surprisingly was PE. Kind of a weird thing to still do, especially when you do costume stuff inside of a cramped bedroom. In this version of PE, you would do things like doing fake sprints on your bed, doing yoga while following a screen and jumping up and down on a fragile floor on the 3rd floor of your apartment. One of the things that I was recommended on doing as something to do extra for PE was a bi-weekly 4-lap run around a certain track or outside path. Now, of course, the schools are closed, and you simply cannot step into a gay public school track to run around 4 times. You had to get creative. Here were a couple of things I did. First thing I tried was running around in an empty parking lot to a college for about 4 laps. The second thing was to run around the entire neighborhood for about 10 minutes, which still counted as 4 laps if you did your math correctly. Now, all of those things work, but here's when the main idea of the story comes into the picture. My situation with living was a little different compared to most kids living with their parents. As a kid of divorced parents, I had to live and stay in both my parents' houses on a 50-50 split. This was the reason why I had so many options of running 4 laps on a track. Usually when I stayed at my mom's place, my mom's boyfriend at the time offered to take me to his old high school running track. It was a dirt track because it was built around the 70s, I guess, and was open to the public at any time since it was a gated like most of them. He would usually wait for us in the car until we were finished with our run since it was open to the public and we were often in the view. Now again, this was early 2021. Nobody or anybody was rarely there at that track. So usually I had the track to myself, doing my time, and just take the ride back home. But remember when I said rarely? Well, let's begin. It was an April-May afternoon. He took me there at about 2 to 3 p.m. Me and my 6-year-old brother at the time jumped out of the car, and we were about to get started with running on the track, only for there to be a problem. Somebody happened to be on the track with their dog. And the dog happened to have no leash on. That was an immediate red flag for me, because as we began running, so did the dog. We were both scared of our lives, and it kept gaining on us. I was running as fast as I could, and yet I still couldn't escape the dog. It was literally on my ass, and that's where it was headed towards. As for the owner was no help either, as she for some reason didn't really help out in the situation for the most part. Stop, it's only gonna make her more angry. Why are you telling me? Why are you even telling me to do that in the first place? I don't even know your dog. Stop telling me what to do because you're not helping. Finally, after like half a minute, I guess, she finally decided to step into the game and put this freaking thing out of control. She came in and told her dog that she was a bad dog. And that was when, for some reason, she finally put her dog on a leash. And now looking back on it, I wondered if she happened to have this situation a lot and she just got used to it. But I don't know. Thankfully, no one was hurt in the situation, especially when my mom's boyfriend not really noticed any of that. Looking back on that, it was so stupid. Just to make sure in case somebody ever came by, like a deer spawning in the middle of a field, you keep the leash on a dog. Don't just assume nobody can come outside because of COVID. You exist. I'm not sure if you agree with me, but if you're going to have your dogs all over the place in this case, try to train them more. It would make their lives easier knowing that there are people who are easily scared of them and can't seem to train themselves because they can't even dip their toes into cold water for 1 second, am I right? What crazy mindsets we have, right? But at the end of the day, that was my story of how one of my biggest fears became even bigger than before. Dogs. I know there should be a slogan to this, you know? Dogs, love them or hate them, they'll always be cute and unpredictable. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to be the first person to ever see my videos. Have a good day.